It's the Weekly Wrap with your host, broadcasting legend Bruce Wolf, and his trusty sidekick, comedian Tim Slagle. And now, without further ado, Bruce Wolf.
Bruce Wolf, Tim Slagle on the Weekly Wrap. Now, my favorite part of the show, wherein I guess what's in Tim's background. Of course, it's going to be easy this week, I think, because I think, Tim, we're going to play a little game of whose Subway sandwich is it? And in the background, you got one Subway sandwich that purports to be the one that was involved in the JUSSIE Smollett incident. The other one is the one that was involved in the incident just this week. Was it in D.C. where one was thrown at a federal worker? I can tell which one it is just by the age of that. You know, some people can tell the age of trees, and anybody can do that, how many rings there are. The Smollett one looks a little moldy, it having been going, but you show it to us because then we can follow.
Well, actually, I'm pretty sure that the Smollett one has more meat on it because of shrinkflation. That's I think
Okay.
there was far more slices of veggie turkey on Jussie's
Yeah,
than there is on the one that hit the federal agent.
Yeah.
And that can't be a coincidence, can it? There's got to be something between Subway.
Oh, I think it's, you know, and they say these things happen in threes. So if we get any news about Jared doing something to himself in prison, you know that it was a Subway week. But it is that.
But anyway, you're wrong.
Oh.
It's here I am. It's far away from a Subway, getting ready for today's summit. I'm up here on Sarah Palin's front porch.
Whose porch is that?
It's Sarah Palin's.
Yes. So you can
that's Russia. That's Russia in the back. That's Russia in the background. Yeah.
Now,
Vladimir, just to show his alpha male, swam.
Of course. And the thing is that I think Trump earlier in the week had made a Freudian slip saying that he was going to meet Putin in Russia, which of course Russia covets Alaska. They gave that away. But yeah, it's good to see Sarah Palin's home. Is that actually Sarah Palin's home, or is that just an artist's rendering of Sarah Palin's home? But
yeah, I couldn't find Sarah Palin's front porch. It's
Anyway, if we'll get to Putin in just a second. I did want to mention that there is some JUSSIE Smollett news. John Pentoritz, from whom I plagiarize all the time, noted this on Twitter. Apparently, there is a story. Where's the story run? In Variety. JUSSIE Smollett slams Chicago police, Rahm Emanuel as villains while denying hate crime hoax and mounting a comeback. My story, quote, has never, unquote, changed. You know that the JUSSIE Smollett, I mean, you're the tinfoil hat guy, but my belief that everybody's entitled to at least one conspiracy theory.
Sure.
You are a glutton and believe in, a bunch of them. But mine, of course, was that JUSSIE was a victim because one of those brothers had to prove his manhood because he was involved in some kind of gay liaison. And back in Nigeria, he had to prove his manhood by setting up JUSSIE. That's my story. It's probably JUSSIE's story. We're sticking to that. Wouldn't that be funny if that were true? Huh?
Well, here's the thing, though. Okay, I'm pretty sure if it was the Nigerians had planned the assault, it wouldn't have been a Venetian blind string and bleach that was thrown on them. It would have been a tire filled with gasoline.
I see. Okay.
That's the way they do things in Africa.
I guess so. All right. There are some of those details which don't exactly mesh with my conspiracy theory. Anyway, it's funny that JUSSIE was in the news with his Subway sandwich, and this guy throws a Subway sandwich at and he's charged with a felony for doing that.
Well, it is assault, isn't it?
Well, yeah. It depends what you put on it. But yeah,
it's obvious. They charge big, plea low. I mean, so
right. Well, it depends. Was it the 6-inch sub or was it the 12-inch sub? So, anyway, they don't call
them footlongs anymore. After Jared ended up in the slammer, there was too many footlong jokes.
Yeah, so. Yeah, he wrecked that. And I got to recommend, for years, I would order and didn't like them. I'd order like just dry tuna on there. But if you douse that stuff in all the oily stuff that they have available, I mean, it's pretty delicious. As a matter of fact, I think I may get one after dinner today. Can we get Subway as a sponsor here, Chris?
They don't have dry tuna. It's already oozed up.
You need even more ooze, I think.
Really?
Yeah.
It's actually, yeah, I would get the tuna because I thought it would be healthier. Then I looked at the fat content, and the tuna is the highest fat content of anything that you can put on that sandwich, other than the vegetables.
Well, yeah, the tuna is fine, and so's the oil. What isn't good is all that bread because it's a bunch of carbs. But hey, let's not wreck our appetites with the diet talk. Meantime, talking about what was that attack in D.C. this week with the Subway sandwich? I can't remember.
I believe so. Yeah, it was another one of the ICE protests.
Right. So Trump has taken over D.C. with the police. My friend Art Herman had a simple solution. Any liberals who don't want the police to be there when they're being carjacked, they can opt out and ask for a social worker. That's all. I thought what Trump should really do to freak the liberals out. Not, I sound like Rush Limbaugh. I wish. Just the liberals. What he should do is arm all the law-abiding citizens with AR-15s. I mean, I don't know how you
rooftop Koreans. Is that what that's? Is that what that would be?
What does it say here? DOJ worker fired after allegedly throwing sandwich at federal officer. Yeah, but I mean, as far as the remedies, and
that would never happen in Chicago. It would be a sandwich.
Exactly. So here's the thing about the liberals putting their footlongs in their mouths over this, because not over the Subway sandwich, over Trump's takeover, because they've made it sound like it's kind of cute that there's some urban crime in DC. That's not the argument. You may be able to argument some of the methods that are being used.
It's just kids and shenanigans.
Yeah, and of course then the argument, oh well, crime is down since 1999 and COVID. Well, yeah, okay.
Well, except for January 6th, when that was when it was rampant for a couple hours.
Yeah, but it's just that doesn't wash when people, it's just like when Biden was talking about liberals don't pay no attention to that inflation number in front of. Well, we're looking at the prices of things. We're looking at crime. We're looking at what we're scared of. Those things just don't sell, and they keep trying to sell that stuff. But
Chuck Schumer apparently every morning at 5:30 takes a walk through DC. That's what he came out and said. It's so safe that he likes to get up and take a walk.
Where's his walk? Where does he walk?
I have no idea. I would like to find. I would like to find out. It was probably walks with the Baileys. I don't know if you're familiar with the Baileys.
I should know that. Right.
The Baileys are a family he refers to. It's a middle class family that are friends of his. And John Oliver did an excellent job tearing apart the Baileys story. Is that they don't exist, but yet he has them all fleshed out already. Has the character types for casting all set if they decide to make a movie about the Baileys. Why
do these people insist on fabricating? I mean, Trump does it. I mean, he had that John Trump or John Barron, and he even named his kid after the fake guy named John Barron. Brian Williams had a great career going. Well, I can understand Brian Williams. When he said that he was under attack, and of course he wasn't, because I saw him once on Jon Stewart's show, and Stewart was making fun of him and saying, so they take you out of the crisper in the produce section and then put you on TV. And the thing was, Williams, he joked about it because he knew that how shallow he was. And and he longed to be like the host of Saturday Night Live, which he did do one time, and it just wasn't good enough. So somebody said once that they accidentally shared a cab with him in New York, and he started volunteering. They didn't even try and sift it out of him. He just started volunteering a story about some heroic action he was involved in. I mean, he just made it up. I mean, there's something about. I mean,
My
honest
favorite,
guys like
though.
us cannot fathom these people who make stuff out of whole cloth. I don't understand.
My favorite, and I think this actually should win an Academy Award for best screenplay, is Uncle Brosy being consumed by cannibals.
Who?
It was Joe Biden's Uncle Brosy.
Oh
He
yeah,
was
yeah.
shot down and eaten by
Oh my.
cannibals.
Well, I mean, Biden is the king. Biden is the absolute king of that. Yeah, and hey, he was elected president. Some people think. Bruce Wolf, Tim Slagle on the Weekly Wrap. Bruce Wolf, Tim Slagle on the Weekly Wrap. Hey, what happened to the Epstein story? I mean, is anybody paying attention to that?
Oh my gosh, are you kidding? It's still the left won't let it go. They're
I know
still
that.
it reminds me of that taco thing that they tried to pin on
Oh
him.
yeah, right.
And they made taco jokes for weeks after it was relevant. I mean, now that they're still making taco jokes, even though the tariffs are actually seeming to work.
Well, I don't believe that. I'll reserve judgment on the tariffs.
I said
Okay.
seeming.
Seeming,
I said
yeah,
seeming.
good one.
I didn't
Nice
want
qualifier.
I didn't want to get in another argument here.
Right.
So yeah,
All right,
so the
let's get
Epstein,
into it.
they're still with the Epstein. It's like,
Yeah, no, they are. And
if you voted for a rapist, you support rape.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to be hitting home for some reason. All right, I'm going to be a little unfair to you because by the time the throngs watch us or hear us, we will have an inkling as to the result of the summit, if you even want to call it that you've referred to in your background today. But I mean,
I hope they leg wrestle. That's
okay.
what I hope. I hope
Okay.
Putin challenges Trump to a leg wrestle. I think that would be.
And well, if Trump reports on it, he will win in 2 out of 3 falls, and also will have shot a 69. That's a golf score. So,
Oh, it also looks like leg wrestling.
That's what I wanted to make it clear. I wanted to distinguish. The thing is that, I mean, if the history is a prologue, I remember the Kim Jong summit, and everybody was going, "How can you meet with this guy?" And I understand that sentiment, but I never forget when it was over. Trump stood at the podium, and he was by himself after this one, and he said, he shrugged his shoulders, and it was like an aside, and people didn't make a big deal out of it. And he said, and if it doesn't work, okay, I will try something else. So it wasn't like he was, he kind of like doesn't abide by the rules of symmetry, and you don't really know what's gonna happen. What was the upshot? What was the upshot of the North Korean nuclear summit? I mean, what was it? I mean, what?
I don't know. He stopped nuclear testing for 4 years.
Okay.
So I think
he was. This one.
I think he was afraid.
Okay. I mean, this one, it's like, I mean, the polls show that the people in Ukraine are really tired of the war. It's kind of worn on them.
But
on the other hand,
let him have it.
But on the other hand, Trump has tried to recently sanction Russia, and so I don't know. You think somebody's going to give now? I mean,
I know there's been historic problems between Ukraine and Russia that goes back centuries, but I really can't see the Ukrainians the Eastern Ukrainians really thinking that we live in Ukraine or we live in Russia. They're both corrupt governments. What difference does it really make at this point?
Well, if they were fighting, then they had a reason reason to go for it. But I don't know. It was just interesting. You know that Trump has been hungering for a summit. He hasn't had one yet. So it was just interesting. All right. Well, that's
did Biden ever have a summit? I don't think he did.
I don't. Well, it's pretty hard to have a summit in your basement or in Delaware.
I know, but now that I think about it, I think Biden went 4 years without a summit.
Yeah, possibly.
So I think the Dr. Jill might have met with a few
people.
So
turning our attention to, now that we solved that one, turning our attention to the Middle East. Yeah, well, I think Bibi Netanyahu was really rubbing it in. There was this thing, this tweeter Vivid had. It's now time for Bruce's Jews News. Yeah, the where he offered Iran water. They're having a water crisis, and the Israelis, of course, have all this advanced geothermal whatever engineering, and they know how to produce water. And what does Iran know how to produce? Terrorism. So Netanyahu gave a speech, and he starts the speech.
Well, I understand they couldn't even waterboard Iranians.
Look what he's doing in the speech. He starts it by pouring himself a glass of water. Here, that's good stuff, that water. And then he tells them, well, their reservoirs are running dry. Maybe we can help them out. I mean, you just kick them back, back to, not to kingdom come, but you certainly took care of their, at least I hope, their nuclear capability. And I understand the latest is that Iran really wants to rush back to the negotiating table about nukes. But there's Netanyahu rubbing it in over, we can't wait to give you guys water. So it's kind of fun.
So Israel makes it out of the ocean, right? Do they have nuclear plants actually?
I don't know how they do it. How do them Jews do it? I have
because
no
it
idea.
takes a lot of energy to turn salt water into. Does Iran even have an ocean front?
Well, they do have the Strait of Hormuz.
Okay.
Yeah, but
okay.
Anyway, I thought that was interesting. All right, so then my friend Sam Schulman tweeted about what they're doing in England, because they really have important things to do like this. They had these British female cops jogging in order to trap guys catcalling these women, which apparently isn't even a crime, but
it might be in England.
I don't even think it was a crime. Anyway, the picture, if we have that picture of maybe Chris,
I can guess a British female jogger.
Here it is: catcallers hunted by undercover police posing as joggers. I was thinking, would the catcallers, if they did it, would they be immediately ordered to get eye exams? Because I mean, come on, they're okay, but I wouldn't waste a catcall or a whistle on.
It's, hey baby, you don't look like you jog too much.
Hey, wouldn't that be something if the construction workers were actually like at a Jeff Ross roast and we're nailing them with insults? That would be kind of. I like your idea. I like your drift here. All right. Cultural note: the Kennedy Center honors. I think Trump is going to be hosting them, and if I'm not mistaken, I think Mo, Larry, and Curly, but not Shemp, are going to be posthumously honored in the Kennedy Center. No, they're going to have Gloria Gaynor. It was Mitzi Gaynor ever honored, and Sylvester Stallone will be honored. Also, the rock group Kiss, George Strait.
All I could think of when I saw that lineup was like, man, if Hulk Hogan had lived another month.
Right. He could have. Oh my. Well, I mean, can't they make posthumous honors? I mean, a Hulk Hogan. Yeah, I get it. I get it.
If you actually look back at some of the people who did get honors, it's not that unusual. I mean, yeah, the lineup is definitely Trump friendly, but I
Right.
mean the Eagles got it, the Grateful Dead got it, the Led Zeppelin got it,
Yeah, I can
the
understand it, but
Who.
Kiss, come on. Even I know.
No, they were just as the Kiss was just as relevant as the Who or the Eagles in the back in the day.
For a minute.
Yeah, well,
I
you
mean, I
know,
love them. I mean,
sure.
I understand that. Um, all right. Any other comments about the Kennedy Center? My kid used to live right near the Kennedy Center is I think
Nope.
that's where he used to live.
Is that the one that's going to be that he wants to rename the Melania Center? Is that
Is that what he wants to do?
Yeah,
Is
that's what
that
I heard. Is it I'm not sure if it's the Kennedy Center or the Kennedy Opera House or something like that. He wants to
Oh,
change
okay.
the name to he wants it named after Melania.
All right. All
And
right.
it's, she's kind of been snubbed by all the fashion. The first time we actually have
Yeah,
a
somebody that was good
model
looking, a looker. I
as a
mean,
first lady, it's the
well,
first time that she hasn't been treated like a model.
but also, I believe her name was Frances Folsom, Grover Cleveland's wife. Also, the wife of a president who served 2 terms that were split. She was a beauty in her day,
Yeah.
I believe. She was considered very, very beautiful. Yeah, yeah. Melania has been totally snubbed. Um, while we have a
It's
second here, yeah, go ahead.
Michelle should have probably been, if anything, on the cover of Men's
Jesus.
Health.
I
That's
mean,
all.
you had to go there. Look, I understood it because when Ellen had Michelle on to do push-ups, I said, well, you kind of have opened the door to talk about what she looks like, haven't you? But no, you haven't
Well,
because you can't
that's
really
actually
talk about them.
that's actually the one that appearance. She came on because you had to dance onto the Ellen show,
Oh, okay.
and it's Google it. It looks like the duct tape came loose.
Oh my God. All right. Well, okay. Yeah, Chris, you want to edit that out. Bruce Wolf, Tim Slagle on the weekly wrap. Bruce Wolf, Tim Slagle. Where's Tim? Is he napping again? Hey, I don't blame him. At our age, on the weekly wrap. So, well, where do we go here? Oh, I don't want to get into sports until the next segment, but did you see that this is the ML football tweet? Apparently the Minnesota Vikings now have a couple of male cheerleaders. Okay. And there have been male cheerleaders before. As a matter of fact, my friend Jim Pathakukas tweeted a picture of one President Bush, the second as a cheerleader many years ago with a megaphone.
Yeah, but not flamboyantly gay cheerleader.
No, that's the whole thing. This is the flamboyantly gay cheerleader. He wasn't doing all kinds of flips and everything like that. He had a megaphone. Okay, is that a megaphone in your mouth or so? Yeah, these guys, and then I'm seeing things all about these trans cheerleaders, like one for the Carolina Panthers. I didn't even know existed already, but they were coming back. But anyway, the Vikings cheerleaders are.
His name is Blaze, Bruce. Blaze, Blaize.
Yeah, so, right, Blaze and Louis. And look, I believe in fairness. I believe that gay men should be allowed to have objects to masturbate too. Too. So, and it's too bad all the dildos have been used up at the WNBA games, but it's just. It's interesting. I mean, I'll tell you, if now that Virginia McCaskey's gone, if the Bears had a notion of bringing back the Honey Bears, but in the interest of equity, also had a couple of male cheerleaders, I don't know how well that would go over by there. So anyway,
sometimes I forget how progressive Minneapolis Twin Cities really are.
Yeah, I mean, it's Tim Walz country, right?
Tim Walz and that mayor, what's his name, Jacob or whatever his name is. It has now he has a guy that's like Zohani or whatever his name is running against him. He's the same level of socialist. I don't know if you saw a Somali he's from the Ilan Omar clique.
Yeah, it's Minnesota. It's It's I don't think Mary Richards would like to live there anymore. She wouldn't be throwing her upper hat in the middle of town with joy over living in Minnesota. And I don't even know how that exists, to tell you the truth, because I mean, I think of Garrison Keillor, Minnesota, these, rugged Norsemen who would, in the middle of winter, just to prove that they could do it, would go out to the drugstore and buy a carton of cigarettes and trudge back with the carton of cigarettes. Where does this all fit in? But I guess it's we've got a nice mixture in these United States. Anyway, let's turn over to the state of Illinois, where my friend Scott Bertram, we ought to get him to sub someday. Someday when Tim can't make it or, has slept in, we should get Scott Bertram if he will deign to do it. He's like the head of the radio station at Hillsdale College, and he used to be a producer for Danny Mac. I mean, so he's got kind of a Renaissance background, and he also does a podcast, I believe, for National Review about rock and roll with Jeff Behar. I mean, these guys are. So he's got some.
Do you only talk on Twitter?
Just on Twitter, right?
Because didn't you ask him to be a guest? Because I think you told me like a year or two ago that it would be good, and that you had asked him, and he was interested. Am I making that up?
Okay, well, I mean, can we call him up for the next segment? Because he loves sports. Maybe he can come out in the sports in the next segment. Although I got a feeling, call me clairvoyant, he's not going to be available. But in any event, so he had a tweet about our governor Prittsker, and I'm glad other people watch this stuff because I just don't have the stomach for all of this anymore. But it was just about Trump, Prittsker comparing Trump to Nazi Germany, and let's see, here it is. J.B. Prittsker once again compares the Trump administration to Nazi Germany. Prittsker said something like, he doesn't follow the law. I've compared it to Germany in the 30s. They tore down a constitutional republic in just 53 whatever months or days or whatever. And we have a president who, and of course, this was considered to be, I guess, Pritzker's weekend stealth announcement to be the president of the United States, to run on the Democratic ticket. I don't know why he has to do it in a stealthy fashion. Just go ahead and do it. I guess maybe he's not radical enough for the Momdani crowd, but and calling, I mean, J.B. Pritzker's Jewish, and to trivialize the Holocaust and the Nazi experience, and say that Trump is guilty of that, when Trump is the guy who saved Israel's ass. Let me repeat that story once again. Our top story here in the C block of the show: John Trump. Much as you may not like him, and I certainly don't like the fact that he cheats at golf. No way he won any of those club championships. No way he's ever shot lower than an 80, much less 70, which he always claims to be. I know how bad it is, and I love golf, and I hate a cheater at golf, and I don't like a lot of things about Donald Trump. But thank God for Donald Trump, because he saved Israel's ass. Okay?
Hey, Rick Tellender.
Huh?
Is it okay, Rick Tellender?
Wait. Why Rick Tellender?
Doesn't Rick Tellender talk about his golf, Trump cheating at golf a lot?
No, that's Rick Riley.
Oh, Rick Riley, my bad.
Yeah, hey, those Sports Illustrated Ricks are fungible. I totally get that. It was Rick Riley who got so.
Go ahead.
See, he got so flustered over it that I think he, in one of his tweets, he said he wrote the word "it's." And forgot the apostrophe. and I wouldn't make a big deal out of it, except it's a Sports Illustrated guy. I mean, this isn't like some dummy like Ketanji Jackson of the Supreme Court, or Sonia Sotomayor. I mean, this is a Sports Illustrated writer. Anyway,
can you remember in your lifetime, if we had a governor that's more polarizing? I mean, we've had Democratic governors that people genuinely, they like. Pat Quinn, nice guy. Even Blagojevich, because he's a personable, friendly kind of guy. People hate J.B. Pritzker. I mean,
you know what? And a lot of those other governors have in common? They went to jail. They could be bought. They weren't ideologues. Thank God. I mean, give me somebody who's willing to be on the take and go to jail. All right. At least they're grounded. But JB Prittsker but he's so hypocritical. I mean, the whole thing with the gerrymandering. I mean, come on, Governor, what are you talking about, fat ass? And it's okay to do that. Like my old partner, Dan Proft refers to him as Jelly Belly, which is kind of clever because JB Prittsker, Jelly Belly. That's I don't think you need, when you really want to be hateful, you don't even go for the clever epithet. What you you just say fat ass. I mean, that's what you do. It's unbelievable. He
Jesse
goes
Waters
after
calls him JB. What is it? JB baby back ribs or something.
Right. Who calls him that?
Jesse Waters.
Oh, that's, if I had known it was Jesse Waters, I wouldn't have laughed. But now, there I go. Okay. Yeah, but you caught me. You caught me. I got that. Probably had a good writer on that one. No, what I love is he refers to Trump and the Republicans as staging, being like Nazis. I mean, we just got through an election where you have to decide if the Democrats staged a coup when they got rid of Biden, or they got rid of him because he was senile, which they don't want to admit to. I mean, pick your poison, fat ass. And I just don't believe it. Anyway, this is what. Now I do admit that it's, Trump can say things that do make you roll your eyes up in your head. The other week, this wasn't this past week, but I believe he said, and I don't think this was fake. I don't think this was just something that somebody, that a parody account came up with. But you should document it for me. Speaking of documented, he said something like undocumented workers are born to work in the fields. They don't get bad backs. And I mean, didn't he say something like that?
I couldn't find that exact quote.
Okay. Well, it's, something.
Maybe it was a parody account.
It's, what, the old Stephen Colbert, the one who used to be funny, would have called that truthiness. I mean, it's the kind of thing that he could have easily said. I mean, just like Dan Rather, when he thought he had nailed George Bush, it was the kind of thing you'd expect George Bush to have done, even though he didn't actually do it. And they proved later that it was Times Roman type that didn't actually exist at that time. But anyway, speaking of undocumented workers, so you ever read this Bob Goldsboro in the Tribune? He used to be an editor there, whatever, and he's hung around like as a freelancer, I think. He's the guy who writes the stories about everybody selling their houses. Okay, and it's embarrassing because everybody just wants to read how much did this person's house go for. Did you ever read that one? I think it was one of the more, and the Tribune, it was like the Tribune's dirty little secret because people like to read that kind of stuff. It's voyeurism. It's it's really bad to do that. But I saw one accidentally hit me in the face. I couldn't help. Like some Channel 5 news anchor who I never heard of. Okay, that's how anonymous local yokel television is becoming. Some Channel 5 anchor just sold her condo or something like that in Lakeview for $790,000, and I'm thinking, how could somebody that I haven't even heard of be able to afford a $790,000 condo? I don't know. Anyway, so Goldsboro has done a couple of stories about me in the past and houses that I sold. And there was a time when I sold a house, and it was during when everybody was downgrading because of what happened in 2008, when everybody lost their shirts, and I was moving somewhere, and I said, and by the way, he couldn't believe that I actually talked to him, because people don't talk to Bob Goldsboro. They don't want to be known, but I talked to the guy, and I said, yeah, I'm going to have to, it's so bad right now. I can't even afford a Mexican to mow my lawn. I'm going to have to do it myself. And he said, okay, I'll write that you're going to have to mow the lawn yourself, but I'm not going to put Mexican down. So this guy, the voyeur who tries to embarrass everybody all the time, got embarrassed by me that I would say that, that I couldn't afford a Mexican anymore. There we go. Bruce Wolf. Tim, I shouldn't talk too loudly because Tim might be sleeping right now, taking a nap on the weekly wrap. Bruce Wolf, Tim Slagle. Where's Tim? Did he go take a nap? On the weekly wrap. Well, we're going to talk about sports anyway right now. So, and I don't think he's too much interested in that. So, and Chris is. And Chris, I gotta tell you, a couple of weeks ago, I started to have a little flirtation with the White Sox. The team that I kind of started losing interest in 1964, but that's another story. And I watched that Cubs-Sox game. The one where the Sox tattooed the Cubs. Then the Sox lost the next couple of games, but then I kind of lost interest. Now we're getting to the. Go ahead.
I bought the fool's gold as well there. Out of the All-Star break on fire, and then this past week I think they lost 6 in a row again.
But the great thing is that the Cubs are so bad they're eclipsing the White Sox.
But at least the Cubs are still hanging in there, and they're probably going to make the wild card. I mean, the Brewers are just hot as heck.
I was asking around. Well, first of all, my number one source for Cub information right now is my 91-year-old mother because she's got marquee. And I was with her yesterday and she was going up. I guess it's Taylor McGregor. Is she like the hot one? That's the sideline reporter for the Cubs games. Apparently during the game.
Cubs games.
Oh, okay. So game with Toronto. Dansby Swanson made 2 errors in 1 inning. It's just yet another slice of mediocrity from the late season Cubs. And Taylor McGregor is in the middle of a story about how there was something about the Cubs or teams wearing denim jeans to Toronto years ago, and that was verboten, and it was at best some kind of a color feature. Which my mother thought was in bad taste while the Cubs were going into an ignominious slide. So it just now you can see where my critical faculty comes about broadcasting. But I don't care about the Cubs either.
Is she also a grammar Nazi like you?
My mother is actually she's over the top. She's almost pedantic, I would say. She doesn't like it when you use the word get for everything, because she was once a 5th grade teacher and the only verb that the kids knew was get. So she was trying to use words like obtain or receive. And she will still she'll correct all of us like we're 5th graders. And the problem is it's okay to use the word get. You don't have to try to sound like you're using big words, although, I'm guilty of all that. We always want to try out much bigger words than we're equipped to handle. So anyway, so that's what's now the Cubs. I was wondering, you might take some interest in this because you do like what goes on at Rate Field or whatever that's called. I still call it Kaminsky, but
still a down arrow before the rate, which says everything.
So
everything points down.
So apparently, I would think that the Cubs' Pete Crow Armstrong should probably play at the Rate this weekend and see if in kind of a rehab assignment, because who's going to be filling the place this weekend? Not the White Sox. Who's going to be there?
Is it Banana Ball this weekend?
The Savannah Bananas are going to be there. Oh yeah. Red Rush should be doing the games. Oh man, oh man, oh man, a banana. Yeah, it should be. And I've only seen like a couple of clips of the Bananas, but they've got these former major leaguers who can still bring it somewhat. And when there's a fly ball to the outfield, the left fielder will do a backflip before he catches the ball.
No, they usually when they come to a town, they usually bring back some legend from the team and the stadium they're playing in. Who do you think that may be?
Oh. Well, let's see. Minnie Mendoza's dead.
You know what they did in Boston? They brought Keith Folk out, World Series.
Yes,
closer.
yes. I remember Keith Folk when he was with the White Sox, and he was in our Channel 32 studios one morning, and I started trying to talk like I knew baseball, and I mentioned the circle change that he threw. He says, "I don't throw a circle change. I throw a regular change up." So that's what I tried to wow Keith Folk with. Yeah, but who would? So, and another thing is apparently if you
Brzezinski,
you think it's going to be AJ Brzezinski, that would be a great one. He would be terrific.
Would be a good one, or Mark Burley, because he seems to like that.
Burley would be great. The thing is that when I understand if a fan in the stands catches a foul ball, it's an out.
Correct.
That's great. I mean, compare that good vibe feeling of the fans in the stands for the Savannah Bananas with the fans in the stands at the WNBA games now. I mean, it's not right. First of all, I saw this thing for NBA Centel, where I didn't even believe it. You know how I'm easily bamboozled by what I see on the internet. And I couldn't believe, speaking of nets, that the WNBA was installing nets.
Well, Bruce, this is a parody account.
It is a parody account. It didn't really happen, right?
It's a fantastic looking photoshopped image.
I thought for sure that, look, I even said I don't believe this. So they didn't actually do it, but it sounded plausible. Here's the thing that really gave it away. In their tweet, they say all 13 WNBA teams are now required to install safety nets to protect against dildo throwing incidents per league officials. And what gave it away to me was there can't possibly be 13 WNBA teams, right?
I have no clue. I can check. Right. You were so interested that you wouldn't even simply Google how many NBA teams there were.
Oh, come on, that you know me. I mean, it's hard enough for me to lift a finger to go into detail on the Putin-Trump summit, which, by the way, is probably the same as Trump. Like, as if he knows what's going on.
There are 13.
There are, in fact, 13. So, yeah, a little bit of credibility there.
They're growing to 18 by 2030, it says on ESPN.
Why?
I saw another article where NBA owners now are interested because they get some attendance and that they're going to bring teams to their cities, like they're going to be the owners, which I think a lot of these have minority ownership in the teams, because I think the league still owns a chunk of it.
Yeah, right. The league still owns it, but wouldn't that dilute the interest in the NBA? I mean, at some point you get the WNBA competing, which is why I don't even think the White Sox should have allowed the Savannah Bananas in the ballpark.
Does middle school basketball hurt the NBA? Because that's about the level it is. So.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of people who could not stand the WNBA at first and would refuse to talk about that, Dan Berstein. Did you hear this?
I did hear this.
He has got a new job. We're probably going to drop back to 3,000,001 in the rankings of the podcast, but according to Jeff Agrest of the Bright One, the Sun Times, Dan Berstein got a job. He's going to be podcasting. Some part of Hubbard Broadcasting's podcasting. It's called Dan Berstein Unfiltered. And I'm trying to figure out what did he exactly filter out before?
Is he going to be calling out more children? Is that the unfiltered part? He's going to be able to expose children and dox kids on the podcast.
Yeah, the only podcast that actually doxes conservationists. Yeah, okay.
I mean, it's a special category. It's probably number one in that category.
Right. If he doesn't have me on as his first guest, he's a pussy. But of course, we already know that. Now, I would like to ask you, who do you think is the bigger pussy, Dan Berstein or Mark Jreco, who blocked me on Twitter? These guys, I mean, they have glass jaws. They aren't used to actually having to engage in any kind of argument with anyone. Of course, it's a podcast, so he's probably not going to get to even hang up on anybody anymore. It's probably not going to be live. But I can see the market. I mean, the niche market, radical really and really smart. I never like to overstate the case. I mean, this guy is really smart. He knows his sports. I mean, with no filter, he might just bore people, because I remember when he used to be on with Terry Bores, and I heard one time, and Terry kind of was a governor, and limited him in where he went to some extent, and he was on by himself. And I know the difficulty of being on by yourself. I'm practically on by myself right in this segment, but but well, thank you for being there. But he once started talking about the WAR formula in baseball, right? Which
wins over replacement, yes.
Yeah, which my mother asked me about yesterday, and I tried to explain it to her. But he was trying to talk about an advanced WAR formula, and there are.
His own, or he was
no, it wasn't his own. There at the time. This is several years ago, and there's all kinds of statistics. I mean, the other day I actually had to look up, because I saw on the screen the guy's whiff numbers, WHIFF, which I thought was an acronym, but it's not. It stands for the word whiff, and it means how many times the batter has swung and missed, is, I guess, a percentage of total pitches. And look, I don't want to be a Luddite and
not just a strikeout, a swing and a miss. I did not know that was a stat. Interesting.
These are swings and misses. I thought you were like this.
I don't nerd out on the minute stats now.
But I mean, look, I'm like I say, I'm not a Luddite, and I don't want to downgrade the importance of statistics just because I don't understand them, spin rate and things like that. But I know that it's at some point it just gets beyond our ken. Look, as far as I'm concerned, as long as they did the one thing that they needed to do in baseball, which was speed up the pitchers, that was fine. But speaking of that, the pitchers, how do you like that first female umpire who
missed the first call by 8 inches?
Missed her first call by a mile.
And they go authenticate that ball.
Yeah. And the umpires, the announcers didn't say a word about it. It was more, matter of fact, it was, here's history. And they knew. Everybody knew that it was a ball. Now, of course, you don't want to be judged on one pitch. However, after the first day, because they rank everything nowadays, apparently she ranked like 13 out of the 15 umpires that day.
Wasn't the craziest thing that she was only called up for that game because it was a doubleheader or something, and then she was immediately sent back down?
What I thought was crazy was that she threw out Steve McMichael from the game, even though he's dead. And I just thought that was a little excessive. Bruce Wolf, Tim Slagle, hope you're having a nice nap on the Weekly Wrap.
And that's the Weekly Wrap on radio and television. Follow Bruce at Bruce Wolf Shy on Twitter and Tim at timslagle.com. The Weekly Wrap with Bruce Wolf, a CP Pods production.